YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a fun little card after I wiggle my screen around here a little bit. How I made a fun little card with the Stampin' Up! Sweet Jar stamp set bundle. This is one of the new bundles that will be available when the online exclusives go live for ordering on the 6th of May. They're available now for demonstrators. I'm sorry, they will be available for demonstrators to pre-order starting on March 25th. I'm trying to remember what day it is today. So that should be next week, Tuesday. So if you're not currently a demonstrator, now is a great time to join because you actually, starting on the 25th of March, will be able to pre-order not only from all of the new May online exclusives, but also from the upcoming annual catalog from Stampin' Up! So lots of good stuff that you'll have to pick from for your starter kit. And then once you purchase the starter kit, you can get at least a 20% discount on anything that you order as a demonstrator, including any pre-order items. And we get our hands on things a little early, which is a nice little bonus. So definitely check that out if you've been thinking about it. And now's a great time to join. And let me know if you have questions. I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. All right, I see Sally and Amy and Judy and Tracy and Pam and Karen, Marilyn, Gwen, Elise, everybody, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here. So it's a fun little stamp set bundle, and I'm going to flip over the punch so you can probably see it a little bit better without the big glare on it, what the punch looks like. But this is the Sweet Jar stamp set and the Sweet Jar builder punch. And again, like I said, they'll be available to order for everybody starting on the 6th of March. I keep wanting to say March, but that is not it. 6th of May. And but demonstrators can pre-order them starting on next week, Tuesday, March 25th. So again, let me know if you have questions. Oh, glad you're here, Charlotte, and Carla as well. If I could say your name without stumbling over it. Carla should be an easy one to say. Some days words are more difficult than others. All right, so this is the card we're going to be making today. Just a fun little birthday card, added some little embellishments on the handles of the jars. Hopefully you can see those on there, and you'll definitely see it once we start stamping on it. So again, everything is from the Sweet Jar stamp set bundle. So this is the stamp set. It's a cute little set. And actually, I realized after the fact, I know I talked about it in the video where I showed you all of the new things from, oh, last name is not, well, try on my last name for, yeah. Yeah, so, mine is a little challenging too. There are lots of letters and that shouldn't go together that are together in my last name. So, all right. So yeah, I understand and feel your pain for sure, Carla. All right. So, this is the stamp set. Like I said, it's photopolymer. It's really easy to stamp with, so you can see through it, see what you're doing. It's got some great mix and match sentiments. This one, Ascending a Little and Your Way, is all in one stamp. And again, I'll show you that as we are stamping with it, and so you can stick different sentiments in the middle of it. Then we have our little jar here. And this image, originally I thought it only went with the hearts, but I realized after the fact that it in fact fits the cookies as well. So if you wanted to stamp and look like the whole jar is kind of filled in, you can do that. I didn't do it on my card, but I have seen a sample or two where they've done it. It also, I think, works under the shamrocks. And so, yeah, it's a great little image. Great stamp set, lots of fun. I did see a sample where they had the little candles stamped inside the jar and had filled up the candle or the jar with candles, and that was really cute. I used the cookies and the chocolate chips. I thought those were really cute. I also saw a sample where these were like bright colored and they look kind of like jelly beans or something like that. So all sorts of different ways that you can use this fun stamp set. And again, the great punch that goes with it. And I love it when punches coordinate because it's quick and easy to use and no die cutting machine required and all that good stuff. So again, Sweet Jar is the name of the stamp set bundle. I'm going to set that aside for a second. And then a couple other things that I did use because, of course, I can't not use dies. That's kind of, I don't know. I have a thing about that. Almost all my cards include them. I did use the textured notes dies. This is one of the online exclusive items as well. The Sweet Jar stamp set bundle is actually, if I didn't say it already, it is an online exclusive, so you're not going to find it in any catalog. It'll be an online exclusive starting on the 6th of May. So I used the second largest die from the textured notes dies to cut the designer series paper on the background. And then for the sentiment, I used this particular die, which measures about 1 3/4 across, and it is one of the Spotlight on Nature dies, and this is a die set from the current annual catalog. So there you go with that. And then just one thing before we get going, I was yakking about online exclusives. I just want to remind you, every time you stop in the Stampin' Up! online store. Be sure to stop by the online exclusives. You never know what you're going to find in there. Things kind of come and go as they aren't tied to any catalog. They just kind of, they're in and out, and some things may carry over for a little while. Some things may be gone after the first ordering of it. So if you see something out there that you like, definitely grab it. Again, you can find it by going to stampinup.com and then click on the menu button in the upper left, and then click on the online exclusives little button that opens up after that. And again, this is a very, very small sampling of some of the new online exclusive items that were just released. Was it February, March? March, I think it was, beginning of March, when these online exclusives came out. So, all right, let's get rolling on the card. Hey, Carol, thanks for hopping in, and definitely happy Friday, and Karen as well. So I started with a piece of the designer series paper, and I'm a little sad because I liked a lot of these patterns in this. The color family packs are definitely going to be retiring at the end of the current annual catalog. They have new ones in the upcoming annual catalog, which is always exciting, but it's a little sad when some of my favorite patterns, the stripes and the polka dots and such, are going to be going away. This is Crumb Cake, and it is from the Neutrals 6x6 Designer Series paper pack, and I've cut it down to card front size, so it's about 5.5 by 4.25, and we're just going to adhere it to, if I can get some glue to come out of this. It was kind of getting empty, and I should have probably grabbed another bottle. It seems to be going okay. We're going to adhere it to the front of a Crumb Cake card base, and of course, just as I say it, I think it actually might have conked out of glue. I'm telling you. All right. Well, we'll do a stamp and seal, and everybody just will have to hold their breath and hope that I don't goof it up as I'm putting this down. I usually like to use liquid glue when I adhere these big pieces on the front of the card, just in case I need to wiggle it around a little bit, but y'all, I'm sure that I'll get it put on here right to start with. I'd never screw anything up. There we go. Okay, I think we made it. Although I did manage to stick my fingers in the liquid glue in the one and only spot that it was there as I was setting it down. Anyway, liquid glue and I are not always friends, but all good. We got this stuck on the front of the card, and that's what I wanted. All right. So, hey, Daryl, thanks for hopping in. Really need to use, yes, I do definitely. That's always like the last minute thing. I'm like, oh, I've hardly used any of this pretty paper, and I really need to show it off, and then it's gone. So, all right, got some linen thread, and we're going to wrap it around the entire card front twice. So you'll definitely need to have the top fold card like I've got now in order to do this, because obviously if your seam was over on this side, or your score line, what am I talking about? Score line was over on the left-hand side, you definitely could not wrap the twine around the card front. So we're going to attempt to tie a little bow here, and hopefully I'll get it on here way over to the left-hand edge. So I'm going to try first to tie the knot to sort of hold this in place. There we go. So give it a good yank and make sure that's on there fairly tight. And then I'm going to tie my little bow here. And I did probably leave the strings a little bit longer than they needed to be, but it's always easier to trim off ribbon and twine than it is to try to add a piece on later. Again, ask me how I know. I tried it. So it's a really cute bundle, Bobby, so I'm glad you're liking it too. All right, going to trim off some of this excess and put that aside. And maybe just scoot the bow over just a hair more. All right, I think we're good to go. I just want to make sure that my panel is going to fit on the card front here. All right, I've got some pieces of designer series paper. This one measures, I don't know, what size did I cut it to? It's about 3 3/4, and it was just a half sheet, so it's like 3 3/4 by 6. It doesn't need to be this big, but definitely you want it to be about 3 3/4 tall. And then this piece is about 1.5 inches tall, and again about 6 inches wide. This piece is from the Lovely Garden Designer Series paper pack, and it is in the online exclusives as well. It was in the set that was just released, so it's really pretty paper. And I thought it kind of looked like wallpaper, so that was why I went with it, because I was trying to make it look like the jars were sitting on a countertop and wallpaper behind it. I don't know if I accomplished that, but that was my goal. And then I've got a piece of the Country Woods Designer Series paper. And again, this is about 1.5 inches wide. And I'm just going to stick the two pieces together here with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Going to run that. Oop, come on. All right. And coming. Yeah, I know the next group of online exclusives are going to be here in like no time. It's kind of, yes, fast and furious, especially this time of year when the new annual catalog is coming out and things are retiring and other things are staying, and it's always a little crazy. All right, so just adhering those two together with Stampin' Seal. And then I'm going to grab my die set here. This is the Textured Notes dies. And again, this is also an online exclusive item. And the stamp set is beautiful with this, but if you don't love the stamp set, definitely get the dies because they're awesome. They're rectangles, and they've got, each one has got kind of a little different design on the edging of it, and they're really cool. I love them all. Love this one for the long skinny sentiments. So let's go ahead and do a little die cutting here. So I'm just going to take this and kind of scoot it down towards the bottom of the wood grain designer series paper. So about like that. And then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. One tip, when you're using the rectangle dies, when you're putting it through the die cutting machine, rather than putting it straight through like this so that your die cutting machine hits that big bump and then has to like crank up and over it. If you turn it at just slightly an angle, just make sure you're still on top of your cutting plate, but turn it at a little bit of an angle, it goes through, it rolls through much, much easier. So that I have found myself seems to work a little bit better. So I'm gonna plan to put it on the cutting plate at a little bit of an angle, and I'm gonna go cut this. So, hey, Carol, thanks for hopping in. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, maybe. All right, so there we go. We've got our little decorative edge cut on the rectangle, and it cuts both of them obviously at once. And because this is designer series paper, it's pretty thin, so I didn't have to crank it back and forth. If I was using 2 layers of cardstock, I would have probably gone back and forth through the die cutting machine a couple times, but this is pretty thin and cuts pretty easily. So I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I do chop mine in half. If you like whole dimensionals, you can certainly use those, but I prefer the half-size ones, so that's usually what I use. I'm going to start by putting one on each of the 4 corners, and then I'm actually going to put a couple here on the card front around my twine, just to make sure that I don't accidentally have one land on top of the twine and then have a weird bump in my designer series paper. And as I'm picking off the backs of these, I saw yesterday in my little town in New Jersey, in the middle of nowhere, I saw like those signs that they put up for movie sets where it's like a yellow sign and it's got like letters on it and it kind of points an arrow. Usually they're around movie scenes or movie sets. So somebody, usually filming a movie or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is probably like some low budget, no name, whatever type movie going on. I should be telling you what I'm doing instead of yakking about the movie. All right, putting this on the card front, and I'm going to slide my bow over just a hair here because it's kind of hidden under the panel. All right, so I stuck that on with the Stampin' Dimensionals, but I did some digging, and I found out Steven Spielberg is actually filming a movie in this little town. I about fell off my chair when I saw that. I'm like, he's what now? I don't know that they've named the movie yet or that the name is out yet. And the actress that's in it, other people seem to know who it was, but I didn't. I haven't been to a movie in ages, I must be honest. And I can't even remember her name off the top of my head, but supposedly there's some semi-famous actress that's here in town as well doing the filming. So I'm like, well, alrighty then, who knew? Apparently not me. All right, I've got gray granite ink, and we're going to stamp the jar image on a piece of basic white cardstock. And I did do a couple of these ahead of time because it's the same process stamping these, and I figured you'd get bored watching me do this over and over. I know, you should come up, Karen. And like I said, I kind of thought about trying to sneak onto the movie lot because it was right out kind of in the open, and I could see they had a tent set up and there were people out there and stuff. But they had security guards standing all around, and I figured that, hey, I was just coming to see what was going on over here. Probably wouldn't get me in. So anyway, but yeah, I can't wait to see our little town, on the big screen. So I'll have to figure out what the name of the movie is, and if I find out, I'll tell you all. So, all right, Crumb Cake ink is the next one here, and I'm just inking up what looks like, it kind of looks like jelly beans or also cookies, inking up that image with crumb cake ink, and we're just going to go here and center it right over the jar, and we'll stamp it like that. When you're lining it up with the jar image, there's a kind of like a shadow type image on here. And if you get the cookies in between those two lines on the shadow, let me hold it up a little bit. If you get the cookies so that they're lined up right with the edges of those, then you're going to be centered in the jar. So if that helps you when you're stamping it, it's pretty easy to use. Cape May, New Jersey, not too long ago too. Oh, it could be the same one. I honestly don't know. I just know that Steven Spielberg is the, what was that guy? Not producer, but the director of it. So, and I know that Adam Sandler was doing, it's that golf movie, Happy Gilmore. It's like the 2 or 3 or something like that. Happy Gilmore, I don't know, one of the sequels to that. And they were filming that in Morristown, which is like 5 minutes from me. So it's crazy, apparently. Who knew New Jersey was like such a hotbed for movies, but apparently it is. So, all right. I've got early espresso ink, and these are the little chocolate chips, and we're going to stamp those over the top of the cookies. And again, they're fairly easy to line up. I say that as I get one of them off the edge. But basically, you can kind of see there's a little like pop-up of the chocolate chips over here, and then a couple where you can sort of see that it's rounded. And you just line those up with your cookies that are stamped. Again, it's really easy to do. Just stamp it there, and you'll be good to go. So, all right. Next thing we're going to do is I need to find, oh, here's the punch. So I'm going to grab my cookie or sweet jar builder punch, and we're just going to line it up and punch out the little jar image here. And it does punch both the lid and the jar at the same time. I know that you can set it up. Some people have like little templates or whatever, so you can stamp both at the same time and punch them at the same time. For me, it's easier just to stamp and punch separately, but whatever works best for you. I got the little lid for the jar, stamp that in pecan pie ink. Hopefully the video is still rolling because my computer, it keeps kind of freezing, so I apologize if we're having video issues. Hopefully we're not. It's just my computer acting a fool. All right, stamping that in pecan pie ink. And then I'm going to grab my punch again. We're just going to slide the punch in and line it up so that the lid is in here the right way. And then punch that out. And we'll set that aside because I'll need that for the sentiment yet. And I've got my 3 little cookie jars here. So again, I did 3 of them, but I did 2 ahead, so you didn't have to sit and watch me do all of them over and over again. So let's get out some glue dots here. I'm going to grab a glue dot on the back of this little lid. We're going to put one here in the center to start with so that I can stick it to the cookie jar itself. And again, how high up or low down it is on there, you can kind of decide what you think looks best, but I'm going to start with just the one in the center there. And then I'm going to grab a couple of other glue dots to hold the lid on and put it around the rest of the card front as well. Or the rest of the jar. Card front, good heavens, what am I talking about? All right, so just sticking a couple of little glue dots here and there around the back of the jar. There we go. No problems, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, okay. So the first jar that I put on, the one that's kind of highest up and in the back, is roughly centered, maybe a little bit to the right. Again, I don't know that the placement really matters that much. Just sort of depends on what you think looks good. But I know when I put it down initially, it was kind of roughly centered. So it's cutting in and out. I'm sorry, I don't know for sure what's going on. Normally that happens if the internet kind of gets overwhelmed at the house, but I'm the only person here, so it shouldn't be causing trouble. I apologize. Hopefully the recording will be good. All right, so there we go. We're going to do the same thing on the second jar. We're putting the little lid on with a glue dot, and then we'll stick a few more around the edges here to make sure that this stays. So a little, see, I don't know. Maybe it's Steven Spielberg hogging up the internet for the whole town. I don't know. So anyway, whoop, there I flung a glue dot across the card or the panel here. All right, one more in the center. And then we're going to take this one and we'll just slide it in over here a little bit to the left and a little bit lower down. Right about there. And then, oh, from the wind. Yeah, I guess that would make sense because the wind is kind of whipping out there today. So, all right, and then we're going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals here, and we will stick a couple of those on the back of the jar. And then I'm going to take one, and I'm going to stick it sort of, again, sticking it up a little bit weirdly on the back of it so that it will hopefully catch the lid. I didn't mean to peel it off the backing yet. I'm such a dingling. If you are smarter than I am, do not peel the backing off of that until you're ready to actually stick it to your card. I was thinking I needed to peel the backing off to stick it together, but I, in fact, did not need to do that. So now I'm just smooshing the two together, trying to make sure that it stays on there and doesn't stick to the paper underneath it. I'm going to take a couple more and again just use those to secure the lid to the actual top of the jar. And then also use those to stick it to the paper. So, all right, and then this one I'm going to take it. Oh, get off there, silly backing. All right, I'm going to take it and kind of put it, again, slid a little bit to the right, but you want to be able to see cookies in all of the jars. So I want to make sure you took the time to stamp it, so you want to see all the cookies. All right, there we go. Oh man, bummer. I'm glad I'm sorry that we missed each other, but glad you were able to attend the event. I had a good time. Hopefully you did too. It was a great event. I know I heard a couple people kind of came home with sniffly, flu-like yuckiness. I don't know of anybody on my team that got it. I am so far healthy, so I'm hoping mostly everybody else did too. So, but even if I come home with the sniffles, it's still definitely worth going. So we had a great time. All right, back with pecan pie ink. Will the cookie stamp stack? I can look at it in just a second. Let me get this mess done here before I accidentally stick something in an ink that I don't want to, and I will check that and see if it does. So I don't know that it will, but it's worth trying. All right. Again, pecan pie ink, and I've got the Sending a Little Your Way sentiment. Oh, it's your first event? Oh, man, those are the best. And, now that you've gone, hopefully you're like me and you kind of are like, no, I'm not going to miss another one because they're too much fun. Like I said, we had a great time. Okay, where did my Fresh Freesia ink and the sentiment go? Well, right here. So, Fresh Freesia is up next, and the Sweetness is the sentiment that I used inside. So we're just going to ink that up with the Fresh Freesia ink pad. And I'm going to roughly center it and stamp it here on the, oh, that's kind of crazily crooked. Let's try that again. There we go. We'll try it a second time. Hey, Michelle. Showed up just in time to watch me make a mess of something and then have to restamp it. So, and you do really need to get this bundle, Karen. It's really cute. All right. Grabbing my Sending a Little Your Way image again, and we're going to try to stamp it a little straighter this time. That's better. All right. And the other one wasn't terrible, but it was enough that it would have bothered me, and I would have had to restamp it at some point. So, all right. I have got the Spotlight on Nature dies, and I'm going to grab this little die, which is kind of the dashed circle look to it die. It measures about 1 3/4 inches, and it fits very nicely right around this sentiment. Even though it looks like it's going to chop off part of the S's on each side, it doesn't. Trust me, because I tried it. All right, let me go run this through the die cutting machine. I will be right back. There we go. And now the only thing to be aware of with this die in particular is that those little dashes do hold on to the bits of paper in there. So, gosh, hopefully the video, oh, there we go. Okay, I'm hoping the video is still going because I don't know, my internet's acting a little crazy today. So, but yeah, you can get those out with the tweezers or take your pick tool or, a die brush. Any of those things will pop the little bits of paper out really quickly. Now I'm going to grab my sentiment and again, flip it over here, and we're going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of it. Again, my little half dimensionals. And we'll peel the backings off. Go out and come back in the cutting. Oh, good. I'm glad that worked for you. So, like I said, I don't know for sure what was going on because my computer was kind of doing the same thing where it was like freezing for a second and then it would come back and then it would go away. And anyway, I don't know. We'll blame it on the wind, like Karen said. That has to be it. Not that I screwed anything up. All right. The final piece on the card front is, the little knobs on here are kind of cute, but when I realized that I had Fresh Freesia gems, I could not stop myself from grabbing Fresh Freesia gems and putting those on as like pretty little sparkly handles for the lids of the jars. So I'm going to grab a tweezers and stick those on here. And I did find, I tried the small ones obviously first. As I'm talking and trying to get it not to stick to my finger. There we go. I tried the small ones first, and I thought they were too small. Then I tried the larger ones, and they, I thought, fit quite perfectly on here. So anything, if you have little shiny gems of any sort that are different colors and match whatever you're making, as long as they're about the same size, they will fit nicely on the handle. So I'm sure that we've even just got rhinestones or pearls or whatever, that should fit on there if you want to have something kind of cute and sparkly on the card as well. All right, so that is it for the card front. But yeah, pretty quick and easy little one. And then inside of the card, I kept it pretty simple as well. I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that's cut to about 4 by 5 1/4. And my happy birthday sentiment. Again, there's lots of different sentiments that you can pick from in this set, but the birthday one, that seems to be the card that I need by far the most. So I'm always scrounging for birthday cards. So anytime I can make a birthday one, I usually do. So, aw, thanks, Karen. I'm glad you're liking the card. So, Carolyn, I understand completely on the typing thing. If you could read probably 75% of the text that I send, and emails too. I just wonder how people even read and understand it, because I go back and look and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even, all good. So, all right, so this is a little piece of the designer series paper that I used on the card front. Again, this is from the Neutrals 6x6 pack, and I just trimmed off, I don't know, I think officially I recorded it as a 1/2 inch in my directions, but I think this is probably 5/8 of an inch. So whatever you have, just a little trimmed off piece of the designer series paper will work. And it's about 6 inches long right now, but I'm going to trim that off even with the edge here. I do find that if I have it a little bit longer, it's easier for me to handle and get it stuck down to the bottom of a piece of cardstock like that and get it on relatively straight. It's not always perfectly straight, but usually it's a little easier if I've got a little more wiggle room with it. If I cut it to the exact size of the cardstock panel, then I usually end up getting it on there crazily crooked. So. All right, so let's put this on together here. Little Stampin' seal. Gonna fold it closed. Do a quick crease with the bone folder. And that is it for the card. So there you go. 2 cute little birthday cards all done and ready to go. And I've got a huge mess on my desk with dimensionals probably stuck all over my sleeves. So, oh, Carolyn, it's a fun set. I actually saw they had some really good samples that they shared, some of the other demonstrators shared at the onstage event. This is one that they presented, and there were all sorts of cute little samples made with it. So definitely get your hands on it. Again, May 6th, it will be available for everybody to order. It's available for demonstrators to pre-order starting on the 25th of March. So again, if you aren't currently a demonstrator, now is a great time to join so you can get your hands on the stuff a little early and then get a 20% discount on anything that you order moving forward. And then if you join us, you'll be on our team and you get to hang out with us, and it's fun. So, all right. Thanks again, everybody, for coming today. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Tuesday, and then again around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Friday, with some more card projects to show you and probably some new things because, I can't stop myself from using the new stuff once I have it. So, all right. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we will, if you are looking for the details for this card, I will be sharing them on my blog tomorrow, which is Saturday. And once the blog post goes live, I will do a little link directly to the blog post, and I'll put it in the description of the video so you can find the PDF, cardstock cuts, and all that other good stuff that goes along with it over on my blog tomorrow. So thanks again for joining, and we will see you all next week.